I think I need to become better at how I put out things. So now, because I don't believe I'm the kind of person who can set a school or who can set up a school. It just takes too much of life, demands too much of commitment. Uh, it's like somebody saying, I want to set up a restaurant. And then when you actually do it, you know that all your holidays are gone. Those are the busy times that you have to run the restaurant. You have to be there. School is, 10 levels up because now you are suddenly responsible for somebody's future in some way. And the only time you have for yourself is maybe summer vacations. उसमें भी तुम्हें अगले term का सोचना है. I remember hearing the story about a village from where always wonderful adults were coming out. They were getting good jobs, etc., etc., etc. And then somebody said, "कि ये इस village से क्यों हो रहा है?" It was a village in I think UP or Bihar, and it never used to happen. And then that person traveled there. I think he was the CEO of Azim Premji Foundation. And then what he found out was for the past 25 years there had been one single teacher who has lived in that village and who has been teaching consistently, and that has led to a cycle where now automatically everybody in the village has become literate, they're getting good jobs, they're doing well in life. I think the importance of a teacher who can teach in a school or principal who can run a school is immense. It's just something that I don't believe today that I can do. But we are here to find people who can possibly do it. I'm great at connecting dots. I'm good at other things. But running a school for me is no. But hopefully some of you are. So I'm looking forward to that. So start करें? Okay. Can everyone see this? So what I want to do here is talk a little bit about my journey, talk a little bit about what does it mean. All of you are here with a certain thought, and we don't know what is going on in each other's minds, right? So what we'll try to do is come to the same page on what we are looking to do and talk about some ideas on how it can be made possible, and also talk about what we'll possibly not try to solve. Yeah. So this is when I was writing that this is a community of like-minded parents. What are we like-minded about? And I could think of these three things. We want a loving environment for children to grow. We want clean water, air, food. And we want them to be, for lack of another word, educated to become capable for future. Yeah. These are the three things that I think bring this community together. And I would want to stick to saying these are the things that we want. Okay. If you have any other views that should be added, subtracted, feel free to continue putting on the chat. We'll keep looking at it. Okay. Before we start, I again want to thank you for being here. I want to thank you for being curious. A lot of parents sometimes a parent will get angry and they will write to me and say, I end up getting angry, but I don't want to be. What do I do? Am I the kind of parent that my child wants or should have? And I always end up thinking that you are exactly the kind of parent a child wants because you're curious, you're open to change. Those are the parents that our children need. So thank you for being here. Thank you for being curious. Very happy to spend this time with you. Over the next 5-10 minutes, let's get to know each other a little bit more. I'll start off by sharing a little bit about our journey as a family, my journey. There are many aspects to it. I want to focus on one aspect of living away from the city for this discussion. There's a picture of Palampur. There's a place called the Earth House. And we ended up going there during COVID. We were supposed to go somewhere else, and we ended up at the Earth House in Palampur. We ended up spending a month there. And I think it was one of the most beautiful months of my life. Uh, I think it's a beautiful place. Uh, Children had a ball. There was open space to play. They were climbing stones, running around, drawing art, and we spent a month there. I think I fell in love with the place. We ended up buying some land also close to it. This is, one part of journey that we've taken. We actually built a whole sketch for a house, paid an architect, but we never ended up building the house for the last 4 years. Why? Because at the end of the day, I asked my wife, do you want to shift? If you want to shift, then let's go. Otherwise, घर बना के क्या करेंगे? Why invest so much? We have the land, then why invest now? And that is where it got stuck a little bit. And I'm sharing this because a lot of us might be in different steps in this journey. I've been on this journey for the last 4 years. I want to tell you where I've landed, and so that we can see where all of us can go. So this was, one place we spent a lot of time. We had a lot of fun. Took land, but did not end up building a house. It's still a place we absolutely love and go every year a few times. But देखना आगे क्या होगा. This is a house that we have actually built. This is in Mulchi. We three friends got together. All of us live in Bombay, and we said, let's do something. Let's have. Oh, we are not able to shift outside the city, so why don't we build a weekend place? So we spent time in looking at lands. We spent time in going and meeting people. Met people who tried to cheat. Met people who showed wrong lands. Then we met somebody who, got us the right land. Found a lawyer. Did all the paperwork. This You will be surprised that this land papers were finalized in April last year. Okay, and by November we had built a house. This is about 3.5 acres. This work happened during the monsoons. We worked with an architecture company called ThoughtPot. Beautiful people. Uh, so we built this. Still a lot of work going on, but we can go and stay. You see a small slide we put. Kids can go in the attic, come down on the slide. Um, and we built this as an outhouse. We bought 3.5 acres. We said पहले कुछ बना लेते हैं, फिर देखेंगे बाकी क्या करना है. Yeah. Um, we also actually had we had 2-3 people who work full time in Curious Parent. Aditi is one of them. Tejas is another. Then say Priyanka and Rajat. We caught up for 2-3 days. We went to this house. There's a lake below the house. We went there. We spent some time. Uh, this is the first time when around Holi we went. Kids actually started exploring on their own. They started, you know, going out and walking about. Um, so this has been the second step where we have built a place where we are able to go once or twice a month. This has also been interesting. So there's a bit about where I have been in the last 4 years where I've spent time to find ways. And along with this, by the way, the other thing that I've explored, and some of that will come up later. For example, a lot of time was spent in Coorg. That is another beautiful place where there is clean water, where it actually everything sets. There's not a school, but there are good people, clean water, air, and a community can be built. I will talk about it later. But what I would love to do is, I've shared a little bit about my journey. I would love to take out 1 minute and for everybody to type in the chat, name, family, what brings you here, what are you looking to, a little bit about yourself, what is your hope. Take out a minute and, jot in the chat. We'll all get to know each other more through it, and that'll be lovely. We can read what everyone is saying and feel we are more together than being in separate rooms in different parts of the world. We'd love for everyone to use the chat, spend a minute, and tell a little bit about yourself. I'm also going to type it. I'm reading as you're writing. You're all. Hmm. Cool. Thank you so much. Um, Please continue to write if you haven't. Um, so, okay. This. I'll stop sharing and come back again once. So, you know, everyone has a view about, let me put it this way. All of us have different lives, different experiences. We're all here to find a way to build communities. We have some similar ideas, some dissimilar ones. Similar to, like, there are many reasons to not live in a city. Pollution, noise, busy, rushed life. These are reasons for not live, but we continue to live in the city, right? And there are many reasons because one continues to stay. For example, for somebody, the elders in the family need to be taken care of. Their job is in the city. There's a joint family setup. Husband, wife are not on the same page. We want education for our children. We want the best thing. So there are many reasons we should leave the city, but many reasons we continue to live in the city. One of the things that I have come to terms with is that, um, it's not as if we should leave the city and go somewhere to be happy and raise our children right. That is one big way to do it. But there are other many ways to do it. Small ways, small steps that all of us can take. And our idea will be to explore some of those. What all can be done? That is the intent of the call. Saying, I am at a certain place, I want to go to a different place. Now, what are the steps I can take? How can I get there? Or half get there? You know, One thing that I am cognizant of, and I would want everybody to be cognizant of, that each one of us has unique family dynamics. Even for something as objective as money, all of us have a different sense of how much money makes us feel safe. A lot of people will say, I have a job, I can't go. Some people will actually have left everything and already moved to the Himalayas. So something as objective as money is different for everybody. So the idea is not to solve for each family individually, that how can we solve for this family, how can we solve for this family, because it is unsolvable by anyone else. But the idea is to find ways in which all of us can move towards clean air, clean water, food for our kids, wonderful education, uh, and living in nature. Yeah, makes sense? Does it make sense for everyone?
Yes.
Okay. So now when we think of making this change, what should we solve for? And I think there are the two things that if we solve for, more people will be able to make this change. Those two things are a progressive school, which prepares children, because a lot of, homeschooling is great. I don't want to do it today. Many people will find it hard to do. So, is schooling absolutely important? No, it isn't. Children learn all the time. But for many of us, having a school is an important place. maybe to find time for ourselves, maybe so that we can be sure that children are learning well for whatsoever reason. So having a progressive school which prepares children seems like an important thing. The other is community of like-minded people. हम वहाँ चले भी गए तो क्या करेंगे? These are the two things I think if we can solve for, and this does not mean there is one big community that is happening in India. It means different things can happen in different places, but if these two things we solve for, we can make progress. Now, how do we do that? And I spent a lot of time thinking about it. And these are the three things that I could come with. That the first is to collect like-minded people. You might have a thought. It is possible you live in a society, your neighbors don't think like this. Those neighbors, they go to office, they come back, they're caught up in their life for good or bad. They don't have the mind space to think about stuff like this. So here all of us are, we have collected like-minded people to talk about this. We have a community of Instagram from which more people will join. So the first step is to collect like-minded people who want to do something like this. The second is to connect. These are easier ways to solve. I've spent a lot of time researching which schools, which communities. I spent time researching parenting. But most of you have other jobs that you do. You won't have this time. So all of us together can share schools and communities that we know, and we can connect the parents with these existing schools and communities. So that, because everything else takes time. If we today say, hey, let's build a community, let's buy land, let's then build a house, let's then build a school, तब तक हमारे बच्चे तो बड़े हो जाएंगे ना, बहुत चांस है उसका. So the first step is to connect to existing schools and communities and see what can happen. And the third is to build new ones. Now this building new ones has to be volunteer driven. Someone from each city will need to take a lead. I sitting here can't do it for entire India. Somebody will need to say, hey, and people have written to us saying, I have 100-acre land. I want to do something. I want to connect to parents who want to build a community there. Another person said, I have 40-acre land near Pune and I want to do something. They've started a forest school called Ashi Forest School and said, we want to do something about it. So for building new ones, people will need to take lead for their cities, and we are all in different spaces in our life, depending on where we are. And if you want to do this, you can write to us and then we will do the next step again. Collect, connect. Okay. So collect people, connect people and build. So the collection, this was an earlier call we did with people around Bombay, Pune. I took a screenshot. So what we're doing here is collecting people, and we want to connect existing schools and communities with interested parents. And I want to show you some of those. For example, there's a small school called Shibumi, which is near Bangalore. Okay, I did not know about the school. Somebody told me when I went to Coorg. It's a beautiful school. I think maybe 60, 70, 80 kids, maybe a little bit more or less, 100 maybe, out there in nature. Some kids do Monday to Friday there. Some parents stay close by and kids do day boarding. So, but a beautiful small school that is the kind that one would want to build. There is Center for Learning that has been in place for a long time. There is a community called Aruhi Life Education, which talks about unschooling. And this is also near Bangalore. There is Sholai School in Kodaikanal. I'm actually planning to visit the school, which has about 30-40 kids. But it is built over 120 acres. There is a Paripurnam community, which is being built by Vinod, I think, Vinay. And I think this is happening in Chikmagalur. So these are existing communities, schools, and we'll find more of them. And if you know of any of them, please do send them across. We'll share a form at the end. Please do fill, please do send. But these are Sholai, Paripurnam, Aruhi, Center for Learning, Shibumi. These are existing places that you could actually go to tomorrow morning and be a part of them. Then there is the question of building, which is the question of finding people who are willing to take the initiative to do so. And using what we have built at the Curious Parent, we have been fortunate at the Curious Parent. I started only 2 years ago. I started reading around children psychology about 4 years ago. I spent a lot of time on it. It's another story why I wanted to do it. When we started an Instagram channel actually only 2 years ago, it's gone to 1.1 million. We are fortunate that we are able to reach out to so many parents, and we can use it to connect a parent who says, I have land here and I want to build a community. An educator who says, these are my credentials, I want to build a school. I want to connect to parents. Or somebody who says, I want to take a lead. I don't have land, I'm not an educator, but I have time. And around Hyderabad, let's say I want to build something. Okay. So the curious parent, the community, all of you, we can help take that forward. So connect was one, collect was second, building is third. These are the main things we can do. Apart from this, there are three minor paths that I think we can take. What are these minor paths? Uh, some families say, look, we have to be in the city because we have jobs, but I don't like the pollution ones. I get ill, my child gets ill. Even if they don't get ill, I know it is bad for their lungs. Living in Delhi or living in actually any metro today is like smoking a few cigarettes a day. That is the truth of it. And our children's lungs are more susceptible to that air. Their lining is thinner. So the small particles also go from the lungs to the blood. I have 4 air purifiers in my house, which are on all the time. The idea is कि 12 घंटे जो घर में रहते हैं वो तो साफ हवा मिले. But essentially, a lot of us can't leave the city full time, but we can maybe go in those 3 months because one person is working and the other spouse says, I will take my child and go. What prevents us? स्कूल में ब्रेक हो जाएगा, वहां पे मैं क्या करूंगी, और लोग है कि नहीं, right? So can we find a place where parents can go for 1, 2, 3 months when there is peak pollution? I think it is possible. One such place, for example, is a place called Avishkar. It is in Palampur in Himachal. Avishkar has been a center where they teach mathematics and science to teachers across India. Sandhya Sarit, a couple who's done PhD from US, they actually took the step of moving to hills about 18 years ago or so. 18 or 12. Their daughter was 6 when they moved, and she's just now gone to college. And I spoke to them. I said, if parents wanted to come for a couple of months, will you be open to it? And they said, yes, we can teach science, maths, language. And, you can see the kind of space it is. It is open. Kids can run around. And I think Avishkar is one of the best in the world in teaching maths and science to kids. So this is one such opportunity that can open up for parents who want to go for 3 months. That is one. The second is to join or build weekend communities. We went to Palampur, we saw land, we said, can we move? We then said, we are not able to move. We can maybe go to Mulchi. Mulchi is close by. And we started building a small community. Now the other people are saying, can we buy land around where you are? So we'll see what can happen. But if one can't move, you can join and build weekend communities around wherever you live, whichever city you live, right? One such community that has been formed is Whispering Waters Eco Village, which is in Khopoli near Bombay. Yeah, they have, I think, about 10 community members. I think I'm still looking for a couple of more community members. They go, they build together, they do farming together, they build, cob houses, ovens for making pizza, all of that. So, started by Vinod and Beena. The lady which is third from right, sorry, in the center actually. The beautiful people, they also run a homestay called Banyan Bliss below a big banyan tree. And they also decided to move. They decided to move away from the city about, I think, 10, 15 years ago. So these are, easier experiments that can take off. Another one is Dancing Frog Habitat. This is in Coorg. This is a community being built by Mycelium. What they're doing is they've taken 70 acres of forest. So the reason this is being built is because the people building it are passionate about preserving forest. And what they've done is they've taken 70 acres of forest, and in those 70 acres, they only want to build I think, 14 houses. And what is then guaranteed is that, and these pictures you see are actually from that land. I think our daughter is also there in fluorescent. And the idea is that you and your children will be guaranteed to be surrounded by forest for life, which I think is such a beautiful, yeah. So these are communities that are being built. We'll introduce it to everyone. This is the second way. Third minor way is to find more joy while living in the city. I have for the longest time been in this frame of mind that we have to move. Okay. And in that, what sometimes happen or often happens is that you forget to enjoy even the weekends or daily what we can do to take our kid outdoors. Yeah. Or near the city. So find nature-based places around city, take initiatives as a community while living in the city, and to take our kid and other kids outdoors. So what I started doing, and then a couple of other parents started doing, is putting this message in the building and the school groups, saying tomorrow morning I'm going to go to this park. The idea is to get some sun outdoors before school. We will come. Will you come or not? Right? Why don't you join? And that has been cool. Parents have started coming, two, three, four kids, and an hour of sunlight in the morning. On the weekend, a friend of mine started doing. She actually just messaged, they've just come back. She went to the garden 8 o'clock in the morning. She messaged on her school group saying, 8 a.m., just drop your kids. I'll take care of them for 3 hours. And it's been going well. These are small steps we can do while living in the city.
Oh,
And so what have we done, right? We have looked back. We have looked at what can we do to take next steps. We have to collect parents together, like-minded. We have defined what does like-minded mean. We have collected these parents. We want to connect parents to existing communities in school, and we want to build new ones where people are willing to take initiative. Yeah. Um, Apart from this, there are three small steps we can do, which is, hey, I want to go for those 3 months. Where can I go? So we'll together help in finding places where one could go. The second is, around our city. I want to build a community which is weekend community. 5 days I might live in the city, but 2 days I will go out. The third, while living in the city, how can I take my kids more out? Okay. Aditi, what we're going to do is we're going to have a chat after this. Aditi, can you send link to a form to everybody in the chat?
yes,
Uh,
it's already in the chat.
okay. And what everybody could do is, where did I see it? Where is it? Oh, have you sent it on WhatsApp?
I've sent it in the Zoom chat as of now, sending it on WhatsApp as well.
Okay, we'll send it to WhatsApp after that. But why don't I see it in this chat here?
I think it's gotten because of
Okay,
other messages. I'm unable to pin it.
okay, that's okay.
Yeah.
So I'm going to stop sharing my screen. And what I want to do now is hear your views. What do you think about uh, what we have discussed, what I've shared? What would your view be?
Hi, Harpreet. This is Suprita here.
Hi, Suprita.
Yeah, it's wonderful to speak to all of you here. It's so reassuring to see more parents who think alike. Just a couple of things. I completely agree with what you have said on the presentation, and we had actually explored a few options as well. I hope it helps someone out there. So one of the schools, if you're keen on considering, is another school. It's called Sri Dharmasthala Manjunatha Institutions. It's in a place called Ujjire. That is Dakshina Kannada district. That is the Mangalore belt. My husband's originally from there, but the issue we had is we don't have a social circle. I'm just putting it out there for people if they're keen. I completely agree with what you're saying. The other thing I had explored, just that My children are a little small. I have a 2.5-year-old and a 4-year-old.
Congratulations.
Thank you. So we were keen on sort of taking our children on nature walks. I'm just waiting for my daughter to get up to speed so we can do it together. But nature walks around, the city we live in. So we are currently relocating to Gurgaon, which is a major, point of stress for me because of the pollution. I come from Bangalore,
Yeah.
native too. So I have not really known so much as about pollution, and just the news is scaring us.
You will find out.
Yeah. So that, the same way what you said, that we are planning to relocate back to Bangalore around those high pollution months and all of that. We don't even know how it's going to work out. But that's exactly what. So, if anybody out there is in Gurgaon, I was hoping if there's a way for us to connect city-wise from this presentation through WhatsApp, to kind of, that will also help build the
We'll
community.
try
Like
to.
you said,
So we are sending out a form. Please do fill the city that you're going to be staying in, and then we'll find ways for people to connect. Yeah. Thank you, Suprita.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Suprita, also please share the name of the school you mentioned. We would want the school to reach out for the parents to know about the school. Anybody else who has any such school or community in mind, please do share. That is wonderful to know. Or anybody else who wants to chat?
So, hey, Harpreet, my name is Hitesh, and hi, guys.
Hi, Hitesh.
My daughter's 16 now. So, from the looks of it, most of you guys have parents. Our parents.
You're in the right stage to move, Hitesh.
Sorry?
You're in the right stage to move.
Yeah, I live in South Bombay, and now we are going to be moving to Andheri just to go to school every day. So yeah, we've been through this.
Okay.
So sharing one of the struggles I had was I found a lot of activities for dads to do with their sons, football camps and stuff like that. But I never realized I never found activities and I was a stay-at-home dad for 5 years. After my last venture failed, I was a stay-at-home dad for 5 years. And we spent some amazing time together. And I love what you said, do things in the city. So within Bombay itself, because we found museums, we found so many activities that were there. For those who are in Bombay, right? A simple thing, if you know Haji Ali at Haji Ali Dargah, they actually have a fabulous marine life surrounding the entire Haji Ali. So right from baby octopuses to seeing large-scale creatures, fishes, different kinds, and there are people who organize walks to go to the museum. Because I tried building a dads with daughters community, but I realized no, we didn't really. I think it was maybe 10 years back now, 10, 11 years back. But we had a lot of fun, my daughter and I, and we did food walks together, explore areas. So there's a lot of stuff that can be done within the city.
No, absolutely. Thank you. And I love what you have at the back. I'm grateful for. I think it's beautiful. I would appreciate if you could send, me a picture of it. Send everybody a picture of it on the WhatsApp group. Would love to see.
Yeah, I'll do that. Thanks.
Beautiful. Okay, would love to hear from somebody else who wants to share.
So I agree with Hitesh. I have a small daughter. She's just 19 months old. But for her also, I have tried, me and my husband, we try to take her out on weekends to the zoo, to the museum, aquarium. So currently we took her to this museum of paradox. It had some illusions. And it was fun with her. Though she was small, but she was still curious to go to places and see such stuff. So I think we still can find a lot of things to do within the city also.
Absolutely. So, okay. So I'm saying I would love if I covered a certain flow, based on my understanding and knowledge. I shared what I feel can happen. Okay. Is there anything that somebody would like to add, saying this point was missed or this point can be considered? Vivek, please.
Hey, hi. And this is again very, very, geography or location contextual, right? Obviously, a lot of folks in Delhi feel the pain of the situation there. And there have been a bunch of community style projects coming up between the Jaipur Delhi
Hmm.
corridor, right? They obviously sell it very beautifully.
Hmm.
Escape the AQI and whatnot, right? Not that Jaipur is far superior or whatever,
Yeah.
but uh, the the my confusion, or at least where I haven't built up my mind, is those really seem more like a real estate builder milking out the opportunity rather than a true community being formed, right,
Absolutely.
of sorts. But again, like we're trying to hedge our bets here. We're trying
Hmm.
to do one thing at a time.
Hmm.
Some of those also look slightly more appealing, right? In terms of you are slightly closer to Jaipur and farther from, and the fact that it's not like in an absolute remote place where you are lonely or you might not feel connected with people and so on, right? So that was another somewhere in the middle, somewhere in the spectrum of option that you shared.
Hmm.
Yeah, I
Hmm.
thought
No, absolutely.
worth looking at. Yeah.
No, I think you're right, and I want to say that most of them are real estate projects, right? And I think community doesn't start with that. Community starts with people. So I genuinely think if you could find 4 or 5 people who want to build something together, buy land, or even join a real estate project, but a real estate project where they are mindful about nature. One can get into a real, it is possible to build a small nature place within the city, and it is possible to go in nature and spoil everything. So you need to absolutely choose the project that vibes with you. उसमें तो कोई doubt ही नहीं है. Thank you. But I think it starts with people. Okay, I see some raised hands. I'm going to go with Nilanjan. Nilanjan, Harish, then Ravish.
Yeah, hi, Harpreet.
Hi.
Thank you. Yeah, I was listening to the chat presentation and I agree with mostly all the points. I just wanted to share something that I have realized quite recently. So basically, what I understood that all of us, when we move to a city from different parts of the world, we basically do so for having more opportunities. And ultimately, those opportunities lead us to earn money, right? I guess. Even according to you and me, education, I don't think it depends on a city. Education, kids learn all the time, as you said. So it doesn't matter where they are. My point is when you move to the cities for ultimately earning more money, which is perfectly understandable, everyone has different situations. However, I understood one thing is that money is required nowadays, unfortunately, to a certain extent. But while we earn money, I also used to, I understood that we neglect our health a lot. We're talking about pollutions, right? But I think health is real. The body we have is real, while money is an imaginary thing. We require it, but it's still
Nilanjan,
imaginary.
I'm going to request you to, I'm saying to stick. I understand what you're saying. I think what you're saying is important. I'm saying we already have a group who understands this, I think. So my request is that share something which can help us go forward,
Okay.
right? If you have share an input which can help us go forward, saying, okay, these are some communities we can do. This is another thing that you could include that you have missed. That'll be useful. I'm just
Okay.
saying this because we have 60, 70 people on the call and I want to use the time judiciously.
Absolutely. I mean, in that case, I would say, no, I have not further to say because I thought that this might be something we do not always understand, but don't realize always. We should take our time. But that was my point.
I am with you. And I used to also, let me put it this way, I used to think like this in a much more stronger manner earlier. My realization over time has been every family is different. Everyone has their different constraints. Everyone should take care of their health. There's no doubt about that. All of us maybe have more money than we need. But when will one decide to do something else with their time is something for them to decide. But thank you. Harish?
Hi, Harpreet. So this is Harish. Thanks for taking this up and putting it as a framework that is sort of easy to digest for people like me. So I have twin girls who are just 1 year, turned one recently, and as a family, we have decided to move out of Chennai for various reasons. The one is we're not able to find a vibrant community here. So as you rightly said, there are certain middle paths or easy to do things. But since I'm not able to find the like-minded people in Chennai, now as a family, we are looking to take a more difficult thing to do of shifting it. But as you said, if this could bring up like-minded people, if I can find somebody in Chennai, at least can we do something over the weekend?
You
Then
should
still
take
it's
Chennai.
possible.
You should take up Chennai and become the nodal point.
No, for sure, we'll be loving to take that up and then see so that we can see how we can make Chennai spaces in Chennai at least to that level of in terms of weekend spots or a trekking spot near Chennai and all those stuff. We could list that as sort of a resource map. So we used to do something called I went to Swaraj University once, and that's sort of a community that Manish Jain is building. And we used to do something called treasure hunt. So basically, we put up all these network together, and there they did for Udaipur as a learning city, listing out people, spaces, and everybody is sort of a treasure there. And what if the similar thought when I came to Chennai, I started to do it and I lost energy because there's work, a lot of things to do. But I think this sort of community again brings that energy up to see what I can do for my city I'm in, because that's what I can do now. Shifting is sort of in my mind, it says I can shift, but I don't know the timeline when I'll do it. Maybe it could be year, 2 years, or I end up never doing that also. But what I can still do is within my city, what I can do is what I can do now. With the current, my kids are just 1 year and I cannot like shift immediately. But the other spots that I looked is I've even freezed out certain spots that we could eventually move. Like Coimbatore, Kunnur. These are spots we feel these are spots that we feel like our favorites or like we could shift. So probably if there are people there, probably we can go and spend some time, at least to get the taste of it before even we want to shift. Because spending like a month or two will also give us an idea whether we like that space and all those stuffs to come about. And but thanks for putting it out. In terms of your framework, it sort of puts everything in sort of like levels kind of thing. So for us to understand and see what we can do now immediately in my city.
Bringing everybody together has forced me to look at it in this manner. Like I also did not have this framework in mind, 3 weeks. But when you have to explain or put it out, you end up putting some thought into it. Thank you.
Harpreet, just one more thing. I also like sent you a message if you remember. So out of this curiosity, we're also building a map kind of thing. Probably I'll showcase that to you separately. So
please send it to me.
Sure, I'll do that. Thank you.
Hi, Ravish.
Hi, Harpreet. Sat Shri Akal.
Sat Shri Akal, yaar.
Okay, I'm really excited about this concept, which was there in our mind from I don't know how many years passed by, but I hail basically from Patiala, now sitting up in Pune. I'll try to quickly just give a summary of my life. I have been in Pune from last 10 years, but because I am from Patiala and I have been very close to Himalayas, it was called MMT in my college days, because every weekend I used to organize bike rides and everything with my friends and go to Kasauli and nearby places. See, every new thought which I have in my mind, I always do pros and cons. So there is a niggling question, Arpit, in my mind regarding this whole concept. Please do not take it as a criticism, but it's just what I want to take it out here. See, suppose we move to rural or out of city lifestyle, and our children, they are happy over there. But there will be someday, there will be days in the future when they'll grow up, and they'll have to come to city once again. Right? Because we of course want our kids to be, well educated and, have all the degrees and whatnot. At least have knowledge rather than being educated. So for that, they might have to put up in the city, do odd jobs. So I don't know how strong would my kids would be to manage the city life all over again if they are brought up in a non-urban culture. So that is one thing that that really confuses me.
So
That
I
I
think,
can yeah
no, I
yeah
think,
please.
Ravi, this is a beautiful question. Nigan, it's a question I've thought about. One, I don't think we need to go back and be a village there. I don't think there is anything beautiful about poverty, right? It is a hard life. Uh, all of us gravitate towards convenience. So there's nothing to glorify about a village in Bastar or, in deep part of the country. Yes, the life there might be slower, but there's nothing to glorify there, I think. So when I say let's build communities in nature, I don't mean let's go and be poor or let's go and leave whatever we could have learned here. Yeah. The second part of this is that, for example, if we say, oh, when my child has to grow up, will have to use laptop and mobile. So let me give it to my child when he's 2. Okay. Now you understand that is not okay. Similarly, the thing here is that life in city has just become very rushed. And what is happening in this, if you look at the context of all of this, the context is, I think the core reason we are here is because we feel life is rushed and we don't have enough time with our children. And our children are also running here and there. That the fact that none of us need to be in a rat race and we can still do well, live a good life, earn enough money, be happy, be joyful. That I think is the objective. That I can be happy, I can be joyful, I can be competent, I can be capable without being involved in the rat race. Does that make sense?
Enough. Yeah, it does. I want it to make sense actually. Yes. Thanks.
Thank you. I hope I'm actually calling in line, but I hope I am calling in the right order. Reshma ji, the two Reshma.
Yeah, hi.
Excellent.
Oh,
So okay, please
so
please go ahead.
yeah, hi. First of all, just kudos to the whole team to take this big task and take that initiative. So thank you for doing that. When you were sharing, I something clicked for me is what we can do is we can host each other if we are traveling, and we can be exposed to a different place and culture if it's possible. I don't know whether that possibility is there or not to host each other if we are traveling. And second is if we can do nature related travel or camps together, because I feel like so we are unschooling family in Chennai. So since last 4 years, I also have, done this lot of research. I know a place called Marudam, which is a farm school in Tiruvannamalai. Yeah, so that they are doing some beautiful work over there. They do a forestation program of Arunachalam Hill over there. So there are a lot of things to do if we want to do it as a community. So if I know something, I can share that, and if people who are interested, they can join. So that is a second thought that came to my mind, that we can be resource to each other if we come across certain things.
No, absolutely. And we have to do more of that, Reshma ji. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Chitra ji?
Hi. Yeah.
Hi.
So I wanted to make
If you have a video,
I'm
that'll
wanting to
be
make 2
wonderful.
points. So let me just. I don't know if it's working.
If it's working, we could see you.
Hey,
Yes,
hi.
magic. You know, it's magic.
Okay.
You press a button and you appear.
Sorry. So hey, I'm from Pune. So when I was growing up, I come from an army background. So like we visited so many places when we were growing up. And the advantage that gives you is you generally are like a part of a largish community wherever you go. And one of the places I lived as a child was in Pune, and I really wanted to move here, and I moved here. But what I'm realizing now that I'm here, so I have a 5-year-old daughter, very young. So what I've realized is weekends, right? You want to do things in nature, but the opportunities become very limited when you don't have like-minded people. Like most people end up going to malls or entertainment venues, and that is not actually what you want for a young child. It's not aiding them in any way in their growth. So, thank you for building at least this group, right? So, if there are people around and we can think together and put something for weekends, because Pune has a lot of things around, like treks and
I
things
think
like that. But,
Pune is one of the most fabulous cities to be in, to go in nature. Everything is like an hour away.
correct. Yes. The only thing is you need a group of people to go with, right? Otherwise, you don't feel safe. In a
Hmm.
way. So I think this community could really help with that. The second thing was more of a question to you, Harpreet, is
So
I really
will you
like the
like to
three
take up
month.
will you like to take up doing more stuff around Pune, building a community, getting like-minded parents together?
I would love to. Yeah, I would love to help in leading
Cool.
that opportunity. If
Okay, done.
yeah.
Drop us a note. We
Uh,
will make that happen.
Sure, sure. And the second thing was a question to you. The 3 month thing that you spoke about, right? That was really interesting. I'm just trying to understand, like with traditional schooling that we do for our children, how does that work? Because that could only
Absolutely.
work if you're, homeschooling your children or something like that.
Okay, so one, I think it could be 1 month for somebody, it could be 2 months for somebody, it could be 3 months for somebody. I'm saying 3 months because those are the
Hmm.
peak pollution things. Our daughter goes to a small school, 100 kid school. I spoke to
Hmm.
what I will end up, I do that, I will end up speaking to the principal and saying, there is pollution, we want to go out, tell us where she is. And Avishkar, for example, is open to coordinating with school, understanding where the child is and taking it from there in some way. Yeah, and they
Hmm.
will do a great job. So yes, you will need to go, if the child goes to a traditional school, you will need to go and take an exemption. There is no doubt about that. And
I think sadly one of the key things. Sorry, if you complete your
no,
thought.
please go ahead.
So actually, one of the key things that attracted me to this is right. We live in a place called Ravet, which is little outside Pune. So the opportunities of schools which are around are all very traditional.
Hmm.
And right now, my daughter is young, and I see that joy of studying in her.
Hmm.
My biggest worry is going to such schools, right? Over a period of time, what if you lose that joy and it just becomes like a chore? I
Hmm.
don't want that for my child. And sadly, at least around here, I don't see opportunities of schools that are trying to do more. So that is one of the key reasons I got attracted to this entire conversation that we are having. Like a community school where people can come together and have something for the kids rather than it being, something like large scale, main scale business of sorts.
No, absolutely. I so one I would say is that I hope you find the right school. You're anyways going to take some lead in finding the right people to go around and hang on weekends around in nature. At the same time, if our child goes to a school, if at home we don't take study too seriously,
Hmm.
in most cases it turns out fine. The problem becomes when school calls the child stupid and then the parent also calls the child stupid. That is when it becomes a problem.
Agreed, agreed.
But thank you.
Thank you so much.
Aditi, can tell me who next?
Yes, can we have
Yeah,
Reshma ji?
Hello, everyone. Hello,
I am
Harpreet.
sorry.
Thank you for having us here.
If you can put the
Uh,
video, that'll be helpful for
I'm
everyone.
really sorry, can't do that.
Then that's not a problem.
Yeah,
That's okay,
yeah.
please.
So I will just be a little quick. I have two children. So my one elder daughter, she's going to turn 11 in April, and my younger one is going to turn 7. So what my challenge is, like for my younger one, I can take him around for very basic things also, like nature. He's more interested into it. But the elder one, she has become like more rigid about exploring new things. And regarding this, like I have talked to her about changing the school, sending her to nature schools. Then she sticks to it that no, I want to be in the same school. I don't like the school. I want to be with my friends. Right. But the younger one, he's ready to move on. So where I feel challenged is she wants to be in the school, but she is really very tired at the end of the school. Every day when she's in the school, she comes home very tired, and whenever they have holidays of 2-3 days, they are again fresh. So my point is, I want to bring them away from that digital exposure which they are into, like too much of studies, too much of timetable, and the more they age, the more they have confined room activities, more technical things. So the younger one gets more exposed to the basic things like yoga, games, and all that. But as you move into bigger classes, it becomes difficult to connect to nature. So that is why I'm more interested into something like which we are planning here and discussing, like 1 month program, 2 months program, 3 months program, which we discussed. And also, I would be interested in hosting also. Like in Jaipur, we do not have such good programs. Whenever I hear about something, it's majorly in the south or maybe near Maharashtra, Pune. So I always lack those opportunities. We do not have much of these as set up in here in Rajasthan and Jaipur. So if these kinds of things we start as a community, like if anybody wants to come to Jaipur, I would be very much interested into hosting them, creating like Reshma said before, that we can meet up, we can bring in cultures together, we can talk about cuisines and the festivals they celebrate, and we can go to different city and like mix up with other people. Also, one suggestion what I have is like around the year we have almost similar calendar, the holidays and everything. So we can plan like long weekends also we can plan, and some part of the country we can do all together, something like that, because holidays will be same for children.
So you will be surprised. I have group of friends for 4 different schools, 4 different holidays, even in Bombay. But I agree they happen around the same time. So
Yeah,
Rishmi,
yeah.
I hear you. If you would like to volunteer for some of this, please do mention in the form. Yeah, it'll
Yeah.
be cool for some of us to take initiative and make that happen.
Yeah, and also there is a school in Jaipur, Dhun School. It's named as Dhun School. They have been recently active, and they are also doing nature-related workshops with children. Like
Okay.
they have recently done workshops for 2 days, 3 days for children, in which they take elements of life. Like once they did water element, once they did air, once they did space.
So,
So that
okay.
is, yeah.
Yeah, can you please, I'm saying in the form, can you please put the
Yeah,
school?
yeah, I will. I have sent my daughter to that workshop once, and she pretty enjoyed it. It was like totally they are all independent. They're doing everything on their self, and they cooked also. They had nature walks. They learned fire cooking also. So it's like connecting to nature only.
Sure. Thank
Yeah.
you.
So I'll mention about the school also.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, Harpreet, can we have Abraham ji to unmute now?
तो वो गया था उसको
Are you talking about me? I'm assuming.
Yes, I'm sorry if that's your
I know
second
my
name.
first name is a little difficult to pronounce. But lovely to meet you, Harpreet. So glad to see an initiative like this. I do not know much about pollution. I'm in Kerala, so it's quite clean here.
Congratulations.
So far. And I am a regular I am from a village town as well, Kottayam. So I know I live in a farm already. So while you are talking about it, I'm already doing it. So weekdays in town and weekends in a farm. But yeah, to come to the point, Harpreet, I'm so glad that you're solution driven and not problem driven. But like you said, taking forward, I think it's important to kind of map what the problems are. And it seems to be pan-India, not just here. I've been an educator for the last 15 years. I come from a family of educators. I'm third generation early childhood educator. So what you're saying is a problem that is compounding. And I can hear this echo everywhere now. So two ideas that pass on through my head is there are already so many schools. Maybe a solution that could connect with the existing schools and try to get them to pivot because the audience wants this, maybe trying to convince them so that there can be a slight pivot in the system already. The system exists, building a new infrastructure is always time consuming and not that easy.
Yeah.
So that's where I try to work in. I think I'm also part of the International Play Association. I try to work with other schools, trying to bring back play into the school itself because they already have the infrastructure. It's only about reschooling them or trying to convince them that the data is this way and things are changing, parents' mindsets are changing. If you really want to stay relevant in the game, you need to change. So that's one approach that I found quite successful. So maybe having champions in each area trying to get the system to change. At the same time, there is a need. There are people with different needs. Like now we were talking about forest schooling, things like that. And I won't say there is no right or wrong. I don't like to get into those kind of discussions. They can go on very well philosophical. But yeah, even those kind of communities, building communities, it takes a village to build a child, Harpreet. I think you know this. You need a team. And not everybody can build a school. I agree with you. It's not easy. I'm running in two different zones, one in the Middle East and one in India. It's easy. So starting a school from scratch also is a lot of time commitment and things like that. I'd love to see how this evolves. I'd love to be in touch.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And
Varghese,
yeah,
I agree with you, and I think because of AI, in 5 years, everyone will understand that schooling needs to change. Right now, because school नौकरी के लिए जाते हैं, फिर कॉलेज जाते हैं, कॉलेज से किसी की नौकरी लग जाती है. In 5 years, a lot of that will stop. And I think everyone who aspires to get into the middle class and get a job 5-6 lakh rupees after college, they're going to go through a lot of pain because all of that is going to get automated. So eventually,
what you said is right because I'm doing 2 leadership courses in education, one from IIM Cal and one from Harvard Graduate School right now. So what you're saying is so true. We've not kept up. We're not changed. And especially now, let's be honest, fundamental to life is good air, good water, and place to play. Those are the fundamentals.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm 40. We have 20-30 years to live. So yeah, good air, good water is good enough.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Looking forward. Thank you.
Yeah, Sujit ji.
Hi, Sujit. You are on mute. You're still on mute. No, you're on mute with video. Okay, आप एक बार we can't hear you because you're on mute. एक बार आप उसको ठीक कर लीजिए. We'll come back to you, Sujit ji, again. Venki?
Yeah, so it wasn't more like an answer. I think it was more a question, which is a lot of the discussion that we are doing right now is from the viewpoint of parents, right? How do you discover what does the child take to and take to well? Like for instance, at least in cities, keeping the negatives aside, in different cities have different negatives. The fact is that you have the element of choice, and that choice is much broader than when you were to try and narrow it as you go away from the city, because the choice does get narrower. So how do you take a decision for a child when you're not so sure what their uptake is into? Like, for instance, some parents would decide to do homeschooling. How do we know that's best for the child? Somebody would do unschooling. How do we know that's for the child? I feel that sometimes we come from certain assumptions that we have as parents without really recognizing what exactly is needed for the child. And of course, that can change every 2 or 3 years for the child, right? It doesn't have to be static. It's not something where personality is built into it from day one. How do you then adapt over a period of time? This question is more pertinent largely because I come from a defense background. My dad was in the Indian Air Force, so we moved like every 2 or 3 years. And it was very evident to me that there were some cities, some schooling structures, some pedagogical principles that I took to quite well, and some others that I didn't take to quite well. Of course, in those days, it was almost forced to follow your parents. You didn't have much of a choice. But, how do you keep that framework in mind so that the input system is not limited to parents, but there's a massive input system which is predominantly dependent on the child itself?
No, absolutely. And I think it's an important question. I think of it in this manner today, Venki, that all parenting is interference in child's life. Right? Parenting is essential.
I agree with him.
Yeah.
I take it
Parents
to an
are
extreme and I say that parents sometimes are the worst thing that can happen to a child. But the thing is, because you don't know, you
No, the
tend to
point
do it
is,
only from a very
the
limiting
point
view, right?
also is, without parents, children can't survive. That is the truth of it, right? So in terms of living, parents are essential, or a loving adult is essential. And then all parenting is interference in a child's life. So the way I see it is, if your interference is to protect the child from agenda of the world, then it is the right interference. If it is to get the child to do what you want to get done, right, then you might say that I am coming in the way of following the child. That is how I see it. Agenda of the world is junk food, screens, consumerism, all of that is agenda of the world, which wants us to spend more money, A, B, C, D, X, Y, Z. So that interference, to stop that, is, I think, absolutely essential. Apart from that, everything else is interference. Now, what will a child take to? None of us know. And I think many of us want to know it too early. I think a child who becomes a genius at the age of 8, 10, or becomes a famous musician at the age of 16, likely will go through a lot of pain in life. Because if you, get somewhere easily, after that, where do you go from there is always very, very, very hard. So for my own child, I would want her to discover her passion slowly. Also, I think, Venki, the other part is, we often think about our children as saying, because there are choices in the city, they might pick up this. In our head, it is like, my child might pick up skateboarding and become great at skateboarding. By shifting somewhere else, am I taking that away from the child? And when I think about that, I think I try not to box first myself and then my child. Am I an engineer who went to IIT? Am I a writer who wrote a book? Am I a mountaineer who climbed mountains for 3-4 years? Or am I a researcher who now talks about parenting? I don't know. So for myself also, I want to stop boxing myself. And for my child also, I want to stop thinking, this is what my child was meant to do or could have been born to do, which I'm taking away. I don't think it functions like that. That is in very, 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 very rare cases, maybe, where we are born with a certain physical mindset, if I might say. But otherwise, I would say wherever children go, they will find opportunities. Does that work?
No, I think that makes sense. It was just, I think the skateboard example is also pretty apt, right? Which is, if let's say you went to a very narrow school and you don't have peers who skateboard with you, you don't have to be great at skateboarding, but it's just something that you explore, then the ability to explore and be even exposed to that reduces tremendously. But that again, like I said, it depends on which side and from which perspective you look at it.
No, so I think, some loving adults, some loving children, clean water, air. That is in general enough for children. Okay. Yes.
Can we have the
Yes.
next question from Payal ji?
Okay, we have Payal, Ishan, and Mansi, and then we will stop. And there's Sujit ji. Yes, Payal.
Yeah, hi. I've always been a big fan of yours. And yes, I do live in a place that is a dream place for most of the people when I hear, them talk. I live in Kunur, which is like a small hill station,
Oh, excellent.
beautiful, a beautiful location, lot of green, lot of clean air, lot of clean water. But just for people who crave to live in a place like this, just wanted to, say that, of course, this place also comes with a lot of, uh, you know, story behind it. Yeah, it has a lot of,
Yes.
yeah. So we do have issues where you will have 6 months of absolutely no sunlight. It's not easy to live in a place where you don't get electricity. Like, you will have electricity going off for a couple of days. You won't have hot water. You won't have heaters when it's cold. So yes, a lot of pros, but yes, it comes with a lot of cons also. But even then, I still feel that a place like Kunur, we do, like I hear so much about these, about community schools and community thinking, which smaller places like this do lack. Though we have what you all want, we are not able to give it. So I'm looking forward to, host a, and make Kunur a place where I could have kids from the cities coming here, not only to benefit the kids from the cities, but to benefit our own kids here, most importantly, because I feel the kids here in Kunur do lack what the kids in the cities have. So I'm looking at it from.
And what is that? What do kids in Kannur lack?
So they do lack what I say, at a young age, they do lack things like being street smart, understanding opportunities is what I feel. I'm from Mumbai, shifted down here, so maybe that's the way I feel and I think. But yes, kids from this section, they are very oblivious to the world around them. Uh, you know, they live in they live in absolute ignorance of the fact that the world could be cruel. Okay, though I know my own son who studied in community school, a little away from Kunur in a boarding school, from the J. Krishnamurti concept of education. So I love it. Is able to settle down very well. Now he's studying in the US. Absolutely fine. But yes, I felt that, that thing about understanding people beyond what they are is something which kids out here, I feel, a little bit exposure might help them. I may be wrong. I may be completely wrong.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah, sometimes I feel it's nice to be in that protected cage because you enjoy every bit of your childhood. Yes, kids enjoy their childhood here. I completely agree. But yes, I would want to get a little bit of city into this small little place temporarily, only for 2-3 months, what you mentioned, not for the whole time. I would prefer this,
Good
keeping the.
initiative, by the way. If you think it can happen, you should please do fill the form. Please do
Yes.
put it out. If you if you could find an educator who resides locally, we
And
could try. Oh, you okay? So we can then, find people who could possibly come there and stay.
yeah, and who could come and stay and could build a community to help me build a community which help kids get book best of both the worlds. Basically, that's what I want to give them, the best of both the worlds.
Absolutely. And what I can tell you is that you grew up in Bombay. I grew up in a small town. Patiala was a very sleepy city in 1992. Uh, and I think many of us adults who live in the city now had a protected childhood that ways. And I
Yes.
find, and at least I think, वो ऐसा है कि my mom is 60 now. She uses mobile very well. उनके टाइम पे तो मोबाइल नहीं था. So the slide towards the city, is very, very quick. तो गांव से शहर जाना बहुत आसान है. शहर से गांव आना बहुत मुश्किल है. So if I was you, I wouldn't worry too much. I would actually be grateful for the life that you have, and that when your kids get to the city, they will take it to like a fish to water. So yeah,
So I'm really looking forward for, the parents, living in the cities. Please get your kids here, get in touch with us, through you. Like I would love to build,
put out your number on the group. Yeah, put it out. We will anyways make it happen through the group. We'll find some way to do it. We will need help to do this. We need somebody to volunteer and do this. We'll see. Cool.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
Hi, Sujit ji.
Hey, thanks. You able to hear me now?
I can hear you.
Great. Yeah. First of all, thanks for organizing this, and probably I'm following you for last 1 year, if I'm not wrong. And I have a kid of 5 years now,
Okay.
and the whole thing of parenting, yeah, because it started right at the place when Corona started and lockdown days came in. So a lot of research, a lot of things, because she was just like born at that time, and then this all things happened. So one thing probably I felt is so the point which you rightly mentioned in the initial stuff, like how you can strike a balance, because time is also running out, right? So kids has to get the exposure, what we are thinking, okay, this is the right thing. So that's where the point you rightly mentioned, the perspective of parents, wherein the curiosity of parents, we find, okay, this can be a better option, but how much time you have is a question, right? And how you can strike a balance is another important aspect. And the last thing is, like, you might think, okay, 10 year down the line or 20 year down the line, this is the situation you feel. So probably an option of moving down to a tier 3, usually we call it in a corporate world, but still to say a tier 2, tier 3 city or tier 4 even can be a better option also, because of the fact I am saying it because of the reason that I am in Trivandrum, Kerala, which again is a not really a metro, but at the same time it is a city, and at the same time you have like 20-30 minutes down the line, if you go, you have rural places also. So it's like you being part of more of a, I would say, a balanced system. And at the same time, you can maybe, I'm not sure it can work out for everyone, but at the same time, if you think in that perspective also, because I've been to Bombay also, because like 4 years I've been Bombay, but that was a bachelor time.
So the thing
I
is
know
that
how the life happens there, but probably I would say like Mysore, there is places
no,
like
absolutely.
Mysore,
I think
Trivandrum.
what
Yeah,
you're suggesting is that there are, and I'm fully with you. We don't need to go and live in a village. I'm
right,
saying we want to live in a place which is maybe slower than the pace we find in big cities. And I think
right.
Mysore, Trivandrum are beautiful places to be able to do that.
Right. So it's just an option, and the development happens here is also the same, but you have at least 10, 20 years wherein they become some sort of,
Yeah.
right, how development is conceived by the current world of thing is that building concrete structures and all those things. So you cannot just leave out that fact, but at least as a community, what we can think and strike the balance so that the time what we have is actually quite crucial also, right? So we have to consider that. So on that conscious effort, I'm just thinking this option can also maybe work out, because this kind of worked out for me, which was
I'm
the
with you.
reason I was referring. Yeah,
I'm with you. Thank you.
thank
Thank you.
you.
Thank you, Sujit.
No worries. Bye.
Yeah, we have Ishanji, who's raised his hand.
Hi, Ishan.
Hello, sir. I am Ishan Verma from Ludhiana. Actually, I just wanted to ask that in Ludhiana, there is an industrial area, no museums, no hilly areas. What can we do for our children? Actually, I'm holding a kindergarten up to UKG. So, what can we do for them to have a good life?
यार लुधियाना तो टफ पकड़ लिया यार आपने तो like I've obviously been to Ludhiana. My nanke is from Ludhiana. Look, okay, two things. One, I'm saying from a time perspective, distance perspective, Himachal ज़्यादा दूर नहीं, right? That is what I would think. If I can come to Palampur from Bombay, आप लुधियाना से जा सकते हो, right? The other bit is, if you're running a kindergarten and what you're saying is, what can I do for those kids every day, right? Then that is to create space for them to play and enjoy. I don't want to use the word enjoy. create space for them to play, create opportunities for them to be able to pursue their curiosity, right? Now, आपके आसपास इंडस्ट्रियल एरिया होगा, बट किंडरगार्टन में आप बहुत सारे पेड़ और फल और फूल लगा सकते हैं, करेक्ट? You can make your own cocoon where children can come and feel peace. You can put what you call sound barriers to ensure कि बाहर की मशीनरी की आवाज अंदर तक ना आए.
Okay.
There are many, you can, through pollution, you can ensure that your school has air purifiers, right?
Okay.
There are so many small things that you can do for children who don't have an option of going somewhere else all the time, to create a space for them which is small but beautiful.
Okay, sir. Thank you so much.
Shukriya, Ishan ji. Thank you.
Mansi ji, can you please unmute?
Yeah.
Hi, Mansi.
Thank you. Hi, Harpreet. Firstly, I just want to thank you and for creating such a good opportunity and taking an initiative for this side. So I particularly have been concerned about all those things which you already discussed, and it has been a major concern for me while being a parent and an individual also, because particularly I am residing in Gurgaon, which is again the pollution is a concern over here. And then being a parent, my another concern is the parenting again. And I'm too much concerned about how things have been around in the city or in any of the metro cities, or maybe in the non-metro cities also, because there is a kind of race running in and around in people's mind. People are just running for their life, just living it, and they're not much, I think, maybe concerned also, but not much aware that how this is going to end. And this particularly, sorry, am I audible?
Yeah.
Yeah. This was my concern about it. So particularly, I am taking small steps from my end over here, which is one of them was which I am starting a preschool as of now. But my idea of starting a preschool is quite different, to create a place, maybe whatever places you just discussed of, and those places would, it might be a blend as of now because it's at a very small level, might be a blend of how the kindergartens are, but with a blend of what we want in future the generations to know, that it is not a race, it is not a competition. You can learn on your own pace.
Absolutely.
And
Thank you. Yeah. No,
yeah,
thank you for doing it. I hope, in the interest of time, because there are
yeah.
people on the call, one, wish you the very best, and I hope you build this preschool nicely.
Yeah, and I would love to be the person who can also host people, but because the opportunities are very less in the metro cities, uh, but to create a place like this would be an opportunity which I am happy to be a volunteer to manage things around in here, but with a part of and building a
So
community.
please do fill the form.
Yeah, I already filled it.
Thank you.
Okay.
Okay, cool. Aditi, is there anybody else?
No, Harpreet.
Okay, cool. Aditi, you want to take a picture with everybody on video? We have, I'm surprised you have so many people still on the call. Look at that. Thank you so much for staying on. You've been wonderful. I've genuinely enjoyed talking to all of you. If you know of any educators who can build schools, please do share. If you are an educator yourself, please do share. I think we need wonderful people. Like, I don't have the aptitude, skill, temperament for it to run a school myself. मुझे लगता है पेरेंट्स को सिखा तो काफी है. बच्चे को कुछ हो जाएगा. That is something I can do. But if you know of educators who can build schools, please do 100% share in the form if you can. Our next steps would be to use this form and do the 5 things that we mentioned, which is connect more people to existing communities and schools. If somebody takes a lead in whichever city, build more places around them. If an educator wants to take a lead, do that. After that, the people who want to move for months of pollution, we have an option in Kannur here. There's an option of Palampur. We would want to thrash out these options and put them out for parents. After that, if you want to build weekend communities, for example, somebody said around Delhi, there are builder projects. But I'm saying if you want to find parents who want to build something together and go and build like a place we have built in Mulshi, that will be great. And finally, do what we can do every day to take our children down, get more children out to come and play rather than be in the house or on screens. Be outdoors, get more. I'm saying, I can tell you, each one of you, if you drop a message to a group with the other parents and say, today evening, I am willing to take kids out for 2 hours. Just drop your kid here. I think we still have 54 people on the call. I think 3 kids will show up for each one of you. That is lives of 150 kids, including your own, that can be changed. Right? And then those parents start doing it. These small things can go a long way. So we'll continue doing this. Daiti, you want to take a screenshot? Anybody who can come on the video, please do come. We would love to say hello, say hi. Aditi can take a screenshot. We'll put it out. It is very cool to see all of you. Thank you everyone for being here. Thank you. Take care. All the best.
Thank you. Bye.
Wishing your family lots of joy.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank you, everyone.
Bye. Take care. Have a good weekend.
Bye-bye.